The second Prince Harry muttered the words, "damaging evidence," the entire royal landscape completely imploded. This wasn't some slow-burn drama. It was an absolute nuclear blast shattering the royal family's carefully manufactured facade. Forget the usual palace rumors and whispered gossip. This was a catastrophic internal betrayal cutting deeper than anyone anticipated, with Princess Anne instantly spearheading the counterattack before the dust even settled. It all started with a supposedly minor leaked audio clip, a strangely cold voice totally contradicting the public image we've been aggressively fed for decades. Naturally, that tiny fragment exploded across the internet like wildfire within hours, forcing traumatized onlookers to hit rewind and face the ultimate question: was the monarchy just one massive circus act? Back in his Montecito mansion, away from the cameras, Harry wasn't having a calm chat. He was pacing like a maniac, holding undeniable proof that totally shattered his remaining trust and brought the whole royal illusion crashing down. That's when his heartbreak hardened into ice-cold calculation, prompting a dangerous move. He didn't leak it to the press. Instead, he secretly bypassed the media and set up a private pipeline straight to the very institution he dumped, aiming to protect the monarchy's actual survival. Over at Buckingham Palace, panic struck the moment that call landed. Princess Anne didn't hesitate for a second. She heard evidence and immediately locked down communication lines to manage a total internal collapse. When Harry finally showed up, there were no flashing cameras, just a tense, quiet room and a massive, heavy file dropped right onto the table. After an agonizing, breathless silence where both sides realized there was absolutely no turning back, the explosive contents were finally opened. Photographs, timelines, recorded exchanges, and movement logs aligned too perfectly to be coincidence. Each piece layered on top of the other, building a pattern that pointed toward something deliberate, making seasoned palace insiders shift in their seat. This wasn't chaos, this was strategy. Princess Anne saw it immediately. Her expression didn't break, but the room felt that subtle tightening of posture, an unmistakable signal that a line had been crossed, and there would be no turning back. For Anne, this wasn't personal, it was institutional. Anything threatening the crown's dignity had to be dealt with swiftly, decisively, and without hesitation. Prince Harry didn't interrupt, defend, or soften the blow. He simply watched as the evidence spoke for itself. Every second made it clearer that this was internal confirmation, and the consequences would be irreversible. And stood up before anyone else could speak, a decision already forming behind her eyes to stop the situation from spiraling. Orders were given immediately to secure the documents, limit internal exposure, and prepare contingency statements. Everything moved at once, and Harry stood there realizing that by handing over that file, he had crossed a boundary that would ripple through the entire structure of the royal family, forcing decisions that could redefine everything. Outside those walls, the world still believed it was watching speculation and gossip. The moment Princess Anne stepped out, the entire rhythm of the palace shifted into something colder and sharper. What had landed in her hands was a threat to be neutralized. Senior aides moved quickly with silent urgency, securing and analyzing copies of the evidence. Each detail was scrutinized for impact, because if it became public, it would ignite an uncontrollable firestorm. And knew that better than anyone. Harry remained where he was, watching the machinery of the institution come roaring back to life. This time, he wasn't outside criticizing it. He was standing at the very center of the crisis. A strange stillness came over him, as if the storm inside him went quiet the second he let go of that file, because it wasn't his burden alone anymore. But what he didn't see was how fast things would move. Within hours, a closed-door council was assembled. Princess Anne opened it with a clarity that cut through the room, laying out the situation in precise terms, emphasizing the institutional risk and the damage that would follow if decisive action wasn't taken immediately. Oh, there were questions, obviously, but they died out fast because every single one circled right back to the exact same terrifying truth. If this evidence was legit, The monarchy wasn't just facing bad press anymore. Their entire credibility was on absolute life support. And at this toxic level, any hesitation makes the inevitable nuclear fallout 10 times worse. That's exactly when Princess Anne laid down the law. No waiting around, no dragging out investigations for weeks, and absolutely no quiet cover-ups hoping the drama would just blow over. This had to be handled right now. Instantly, orders shifted from prep to execution as high-powered lawyers were mobilized and external fixers were brought in under strict NDAs. Meanwhile, all the way across the Atlantic, the vibe inside the Montecito mansion turned completely suffocating because Meghan Markle knew damn well something had shifted. The usual calls weren't coming through, responses were lagging, and even without knowing what Harry had dropped, she realized he hadn't just picked a fight. He had completely escalated this beyond her control into a territory where her media manipulation and sob stories couldn't save her. For the first time ever, she lost her grip on the narrative. Back in London, the trap was fully set with Princess and personally checking off the final pieces of the puzzle. Once every risk was calculated, she bypassed all intermediaries and dialed Harry directly. When he picked up, there was zero warmth, zero comfort, just a chillingly steady voice delivering a brutal reality that had already been decided the second he dropped that file. This wasn't a debate, it was a final eviction notice. As those words hit him, Harry finally woke up to the ultimate plot twist. By handing over the truth, he didn't just expose a betrayal. He triggered a catastrophic chain reaction that would strip away his entire life. The public is still cluelessly chasing old gossip, but behind closed doors, the end has already been set in stone, and absolutely nothing can stop it.